In the pizza world, you mentioned all these different styles that you worked with or experiment with or produced. Like, what's your favorite?
I always say that's like asking a dad who's his favorite son.
Yeah. Hey, I'm Mike Ungaro, and welcome to Fish Factor. I'm CEO, visionary, and business co-owner of the Kings of Fish TV series on Amazon Prime and the legendary San Pedro Fish Market. Thanks to our extremely loyal customer base, we became the second most visited attraction on the entire Western Seaboard, serving over 2 million guests a year. Here, you'll get a behind-the-scenes look at running a multi-generational family business since 1956. Subscribe now so you don't miss it. Tony, welcome to Fish Factor. How you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I got to share the story that the sort of the genesis of this, which is crazy. I don't know if you realize or remember this, but I was in San Francisco last year for a business trip, and I was with a friend who works for us, and she's like, "You got to try Tony's Pizza. It's so great." I'm like, "Oh, I don't think I've ever been there before. 'Cause I haven't been to the city. I haven't been to San Francisco in a long time." Had it for dinner. Woke up, had it for breakfast.
Nice.
Went to the
We like those
airport.
kind of customers.
Yeah. I went to the airport and I'm at the gate and I'm like, all this media is going on inside of by the gate. Usually you see it outside. So it's kind of like, what's going on? And there was a podium and all this stuff. And then I see Tony's Pizza opening and I look over and you're sitting next to me. And I was like,
It's
wait, is
kind of
that you?
random.
You're the same guy? I just had breakfast and dinner
I'm
without
following
knowing
you.
you. It was hilarious, man. So, and I had multiple friends that are fans. So I sent it, we took a picture. I sent the pictures to them. I go, this is crazy. I had this pizza for the first time last night. And I'm sitting next to him in the airport.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, so I'm like, I got to follow up with this at some point. So when we started doing the podcast, I thought this would be a great opportunity to get to know each other a little bit and talk about what you're up to. And like a little bit I've been following you. I shouldn't say a little bit. It almost seems like every time I turn around, I see you somewhere online with something that you're working on. And then even funnier, I haven't been able to have the pizza again, right? So my wife is in having a minor procedure at this hospital in Huntington Beach, and I'm in the cafe waiting for the doctor to say everything's okay. And there's a slice house right across the street. And I was like, yeah, can I get over there before the doctor comes out? I don't think I could pull that off. I'm gonna get in trouble.
Oh man. Yeah, you better not miss the doctor.
Yeah, so give me some background. Tell me a little bit about your history and how you got into pizza. And I mean, I've seen a lot of it, but I'd love to hear it from you. Like,
Yeah, it's been a long road. It's been about 35 years. I started when I was
wow,
17, just turning 18 with my brother. He had the idea of opening up a pizzeria. It was called Paisano's Pizzeria.
okay,
I was there for about 17 years. I would say probably after the seventh or eighth year, I really wanted to open up my own pizzeria, and I just didn't have the funding, didn't have the capital, didn't really have the business plan, didn't go to college. I was kind of like what a lot of guys are right now. You know, they have a dream of opening up a business. They don't have the funding, they have the idea, they have the passion for it. You're young, and at the time, I was young and I ended up winning some titles. I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted it. I wanted it. I didn't get that. I didn't get the help from my parents, like my
yeah,
brother did, and so
wow,
here it goes on 15 years and goes on 17 years. And finally, after 17 years of working for my brother, my kind of dreams came true. I opened up Tony's Pizza Napoletana in 2009. We started looking in 2008. I found a couple of investors at the time, had an idea. And I thought, multiple styles, multiple ovens. I always say, pizza is very much like baseball. You have your favorite team and you hate everybody else. Uh, Pizza was very much like that, you know, 20 years ago. Um, Even 10 years ago, nobody liked grandma, Sicilian, Neapolitan, Roman. No one really got along, kind of like the Dodgers and Giants or, Yankees and Boston. So I always use that analogy. So when I thought of Tony's, I said, I want to do all the styles that I learned when I was traveling during those 17 years. I went to Detroit, I went to St. Louis, I went to Italy, I went and tried different styles of pizza everywhere. I just didn't Google it, I didn't see it on Instagram. I took those journeys, worked in those kitchens, went to those places that you kind of read about. And at the time, you kind of had to research. You just wasn't out there. You had to say, okay, Buddy's Pizza Detroit. Okay, I heard about that place. A friend told me about that place. Let me go check it out. So I kind of had this idea. I'm going to do everything in one. And then literally within 8 months, I took over the deli next to me at Tony's in San Francisco, and I opened up the original slice house, coal fire pizza and slice house. And we were the first to have a coal oven in Northern California. One of the first in California. There's only one other, if I remember right. And we were able to introduce New Haven style pizza back in the day. This was 16 years ago, before New Haven became, I guess you could say, trendy. Even though I've always been a Pepperidge and Sally's fan, um, I really want to introduce different styles in San Francisco that existed. And if you grew up with it, you got it and you knew it. And if you didn't, you kind of fell in love with it. So I brought Detroit to San Francisco, California. I brought a lot of styles that didn't exist.
Wow.
So
I think what's really like intrigues me about your story, like having read it and now talking to you, is the skill set of being a chef or a restaurant operator is not always the same as being an entrepreneur business person that can have the vision to open multiple locations, talk to investors, and like all of those different things, and then go and doing the research of if I understood what you just said right, you actually worked at different places around the country or just visited them and eat there.
visited them and was in their kitchens. I'd go to Chicago. I worked for Connie's, hired me at one time back in the day, and I was able to get into Connie's kitchen,
Wow.
tossing pizza for them back in the day. But I was able to see them or meet a guy like Leo Spizzeri that was at Giordano's at the time, who has a new book out now, and he's kind of a trendsetter in our industry. But back in the day, 20 years ago, I was able to take those trips and kind of learn. And now, it's easy. You just Google it, or you just, see it on
Yeah,
Instagram.
yeah,
Like, okay, I see this guy chiseling out this pizza. I see that pan. I can go online and get the pan and stuff. Back in the day, you just couldn't really do that.
yeah,
So I think true life experiences are important. I think that's important in your day-to-day operations. I think it's important for your customers. I think it's important for those stories that you have. It's tried, it's true. And I for me, I think it's more organic, and I think it's more real. I'm sort of a traditionalist in certain ways. So, and I kind of come from the school of hard knocks. I worked hard. It took a long time for me to get where I needed to be or where I'm at. And I talk to
yeah,
people like, oh, I saw you in the magazine, or I saw you, on social, you're doing this. But for me to get from where I was to where it is now, it took a long time. It was a lot of
yeah,
mental block. I think it would have came too early for me, even though I was pissed at the time that I didn't get the opportunity to open sooner or earlier or when I was younger. It wouldn't have ever been what it is now. I would have screwed it up. I just I just didn't have as much knowledge. And I tell a lot of young entrepreneurs that are trying to get into it, I'm all, try and get as much knowledge as you can, because there's a lot of failures out there, and I've failed before, and it's not a good feeling. And if there's a lot of investment, there's a lot of risk, and I think take as much time as you can before you really dive into something. That could be a lifetime.
yeah. I mean, that's super important. I have a lot of stories about myself that are really similar to that. I, I think I just what I was listening is in my experience, it's really uncommon that people spend time on the knowledge part of it. It's like it just sometimes like I worked so hard today, I'm exhausted, I sweat all day, I'm tired. The money's got to come, and sometimes that works out, right? But I think if you don't have the knowledge with the work ethic and the heart, like willing to put in that time, but also learn. And I think what I found to be really valuable, and I think I heard you say this in an interview you did recently, is learning from your losses. I think that's how I heard you say it.
Yeah, you learn from your losses. You learn from breakups. You have a breakup in your life, and you may have been the person that screwed up, and you could sit back and mourn for a day, mourn for 2 days, mourn for 3 weeks, and you mourn from a loss. I mean, you look at USA last night lost in a game in soccer. I played soccer.
Mm.
You get right up and you figure it out and you get better and you learn from your mistakes and you become better. And I think that's important. So your losses, I mean, anyone can win. It's almost easy to win. It's hard to learn how to lose. And that's what my dad was my soccer coach, and he would tell me that all the time. It's like winning a big game, and all of a sudden the next day you have to play another big game. That's a harder
Yeah,
game to win than winning the first game. So I think that's a pretty big you know I think that's important. And I think also you can work as hard as you can and as much as you can in life, but that still doesn't mean you're going to succeed. There's a
mm.
marketing side of it. There's a front of the house. There's understanding the front of the house and the back of the house,
Yeah.
what you're
Financials.
strong at, what you're not. And I think that's important. I might be a chef that cooks and makes pizzas, and I do, but do I go out and shake hands and kiss babies? I do all the time. And I think that's important to business, and people don't understand that side of it. And then there's the whole business side of it that a lot of people say, I make the best pizza. Well, that's not all that matters, unfortunately. You need to
Yeah.
understand accounting, or hire somebody that understands accounting, or, your wine director or your general manager or AGM and things like that. And some people just think that all you need to do is know how to make great pizza. I know a lot of guys that make great pizza out there that are unfortunately not making it because they don't have a well-rounded business.
Yeah, I mean, we've tried to open locations and had to pull the plug, especially after like through the pandemic, because it's like, okay, well, this model's not going to work in this environment. And it's like it wasn't that the food wasn't great; it was the model was different than our. And I think really what I've been reflecting on that whole situation, I don't think as a family-owned business we were necessarily on the same page about what it was that customers expected of us outside of just the good seafood part of it. So, because there's a marketing part of it, you had to meet the financials. I actually even created like a line of frozen meals at one time based on our most popular items. And I
Huh?
made the huge mistake of thinking the customer is the same one that comes in my restaurant to eat.
Yeah.
No, it's the grocery store buyer. And if you don't hit the price point that the grocery store buyer wants, they can't hit the price point that their customer wants. And that even though it was a great product, people loved it. That $1 difference on the shelf
Yeah,
will kill you.
it's a different kind of customer. Like, some people say, "Oh, are you worried about the frozen pizza aisle in local grocery store?" No, it's just a different customer. Yeah, I have frozen
Yeah.
pizzas who go national, but when it comes to a restaurant, you have that type of customer. When it comes to frozen pizzas, you have that type of customer, and when it comes to chains and things like that, you have those type of customers. So um, it is different, and sometimes you have to adapt and understand those customers, which is important, I think.
What would thinking about learning from losses, I'm kind of stuck on that because I found like that's if you don't take the time to figure out what worked and what didn't and how to learn from it, it's not just a missed opportunity. It could be like a death sentence that you don't even see happening. Like what was one of the greatest lessons you learned from something that didn't work out the way you intended it to?
I think understanding, having a good attorney and having a buy sell agreement,
Hmm.
I think is important. A partnership agreement is important. You jump into things, you get excited. You got somebody that is willing to invest. You're excited about it. You just want to open, and you're doing the
Yeah.
50-yard dash to open, and you don't take care of some of the business back end of it, which, if there is an exit down the line, which there probably will be, you don't have something written as black and white as you wish you could have had. And all of a sudden it's an attorney's,
Yeah.
field day. And I think that's important, because we're always excited to open as fast as we can, and we don't look at the logistical sides of it that could save you or really help you when there is an exit. So I think that's important. I've done that a
That's
couple times.
that's big. We had a situation where I had to start looking at our operating agreements, what's going on, because no, I've realized no one in the family had maintained or looked at these things for years. And I was like, we should have trust and all these different things. No, every in my family, everybody's kind of head down, butt up working. So I went to school. I've got this different background when I look at business of network and people I know. These attorneys looked at the operating agreements and go, you guys, these things are so outdated. Do you know that any one of you could sell your shares to me without any approval from anyone else in your family? And you do not want me as your business partner. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that hit home. So
Yeah,
it's all
exactly.
fixed now, but it was like nobody even knew that threat was there.
Yeah, or even if you even have one.
Yeah, yeah, and it's I mean,
Yeah, you may have an
it did.
LLC, or have a C corp or S corp or something, but you may not have anything that goes with it.
Yeah, I
So
mean,
I think that's a big learning experience from business side of it. That's important for sure.
yeah, it's and people don't. I mean, it's those little details that, like you said, I just want to go in and make this product and make customers happy, or just make what I'm good at, and people will love it. And all those little things in the background, especially in California with the regulations and the laws, and like we're trying to open a place. we were trying to open a restaurant in Monterey, which I think is how part of the conversation. That's why I was in San Francisco for that trip, and we're realizing like, do we have to deal with the coastal commission on this project because it's on the water, and like, how much is that going to delay things?
Wow.
And I don't think so, but it just depends on where it goes. But those little details could slow a project down, like the amount of patience you have to just to get to the
Yeah.
finish line sometimes.
Who owns the recipes? You
Mm,
may be the chef and the guy who created everything, but who owns them? Who owns the name? Who owns
yeah,
a
we had
lot of
that problem too.
business of when it started, the initial investment to where it is today, the value of that, and what's the exit like? I mean, those things are need to be solidified.
Yeah, that's huge. So let's talk a little bit. So what, like in the pizza world, you mentioned all these different styles that you worked with or experiment with or produced. Like what's your favorite?
I always say that's like asking a dad who's his favorite son.
Yeah.
Um, no, I like, I like coal fire a lot. I always have.
Yeah.
I like to work that oven a lot, even though I'm on the Neapolitan wood fired oven. For some reason, I think the older I'm getting, I like a little bit more time on the oven. So I think
Mm,
I would say coal fire right now. I don't know why.
cool.
I did just because I'm probably working it more and I enjoy it. So
What's been the I guess I'm curious, like what's been the on the at least on the pizza side and operation side, what's been the easiest part to scale as you're growing these new locations, and what's been the most challenging?
So I opened up Tony's, which was a full service restaurant, full bar, managers, front of the house, um, servers, things like that. Um, then I opened up Slice House, the original Slice House. That was fast casual, uh, buy the slice, pick up things like that, subs, grinders, things. And then I opened up some big restaurants in Vegas called Pizza Rock.
Hmm.
9,000 square feet, 8,000 square feet, 250 seats.
Wow.
So as I started to grow, I opened up Capos, which is a Chicago Detroit concept that's night only, dinner only. And then I started expanding in other areas like ballparks, arenas, casinos, airports, smaller kiosks, multiples within the arena, things like that. So over the years, I kind of tried everything a little bit, I guess, from 9,000 to 900 to 200 square feet.
Wow. That's
Did some
incredible.
ghost kitchens out of state, which was a ghost kitchen, which was interesting. I ended up doing some license. So I have my own and op. I have which I own by myself and operate. Then I have a licensing division, a franchise, and then I have some partnerships. So I guess you could say I've kind of done them all. As we scaled Slice House and went into a franchise, we have about 30 open with about 100 and I think about 115 in development right now. That's been interesting as you go into different states. You understand weather conditions. You
Hmm.
understand, is there some dining? Is there some outside dining? Is it too big? Is it too small? Seating wise, um, what's working, what's not. It's great because I have a lot of style, so I'm able to see what works in certain areas. So in a slice house, we have Detroit, Sicilian, Grandma, a New York 20, a 12-inch gluten free. We have some pastas, we have appetizers. So as we start growing, it's interesting to see, wow, Detroit's kind of number one in this area. Oh, nobody cares about pan pizzas. They all want New
Huh.
York. So that's been interesting because we have options. It's not like we only have one option. So, as we start growing in Colorado, Franklin, Tennessee, we start, we're in LA, a lot in LA now. We're, of course, in Northern California. And then you start looking at some of the other areas like Utah, and you start looking at Idaho. It's interesting to see like what's working, what's not, what's selling, what isn't, um, what holidays are busy, what holidays aren't. It's kind of interesting. I'm being in the Bay Area and having concepts and seeing like what works, what doesn't. I kind of figure it out now as I look at it. I go on Toast in my Toast app, and I'm seeing sales and up, down, down, up,
Yeah.
down, up, down. Like, it doesn't make any sense. So
Yeah, those
that's
analytics can drive you
that's the
crazy.
learning curve that, if everything's up, okay, how was the weather over there? It was fine. Was there a festival? No. They're just up for this reason. Yeah, it is. It wasn't like last day of school or anything. No, no. So you
Yeah.
kind of have to cross everything out and say, okay, sales to sales, weather's pretty much the same. Do two different states, nothing special going on, decent weather. One's up, one's down, and you kind of like, I wonder why. There's not,
Yeah.
sometimes there's not a rhyme or reason to it. It is what it is. So it's interesting as you grow and you start looking at concepts that are in other states, and you say, well, maybe we build it a little smaller. Maybe it's built a little cheaper, a little less, smaller oven, smaller make line, finish line. Maybe we go that route than making them bigger. So it's interesting when you start seeing an average store volume, let's just say, is slightly over 2 million, um, give or take. And then you're kind of looking at other stores, what they're doing, and you're like, should we have built this smaller? So really looking at fine tuning the engineering of our layouts. Actually, I kind of a
Yeah.
call after this that I'm actually going to lay out a smaller prototype
Oh
that
wow.
might work better in Ohio or might work better in other states that don't really need a 2,200 square foot slice out. So I'm kind of really looking at everything. So
How that was? I mean, there's to have the amount of locations. How many locations total is there in all of the different concepts you own or
Well, I
affiliated with
guess
there?
close to maybe close to between 40, about 45, I guess you'd say. Yeah,
So
because we have a
how?
lot of arenas. So arena, do you count five in the Giants or one in the Giants? So you have a lot of arenas.
Oh,
We're in the Raiders, we're in the 49ers, I'm in the Warriors, I'm in the Sphere. Um, and Giants, Warriors, 49ers, Raiders, Sphere. Yeah. So
so with all those spaces and all that data that you're analyzing and looking, are you doing that alone, or do you have a team that helps
now
you?
I have a
Like,
team. I have a pretty good corporate team now. We have VP of Ops, we have President of Ops, we have my partners George and Trevor. So I mean, when I think of Bill, Tom, Megan, George, Trevor, Chef Anthony, I mean those are my key players.
yeah, that's the team.
Steve, we have a director of construction that's a conduit between me, um, the franchisee, and so they're getting built correctly. They have the right HVAC. They are using the right brick or subway tile or whatever that is. So they're not looking wonky or cheaply made. So there's a lot of conduit from there. So there's a lot to it. It's grown
Yeah,
into pretty big. Actually, the technology side is the side of the company that, okay, when you start growing, you meet guys in the industry. Oh, we're a technology focused company. Okay, well, I'm a food focused kind of guy,
yeah,
and I'm like, so what does that mean? And everybody wants to be more technology focused, which for me was hard to understand because I'm like, I want to make the best damn pizza. I want to be number one in that city, and I want to do that, and we have to have good service and everything. But how's the technology side of it? What do you mean? Well, this guy came from 1,000 subways. This guy came from all the Jamba Juices. This guy owns this, and they want to know, you know, what kind of training programs on there, what kind of rewards programs are there? Are they all connected? Um, what do you have in your systems and what are you going to implement? Because these guys that are franchisees now came from systems,
yeah,
and where they have 500 stores or whatever, or 20 of the 500, and they want to know where are we on the technology side. So you get a lot of now franchisees that come from systems, and you're a new company coming in that needs to get systems, and that's inventory. That there's a lot that's all tied in together. So for me to be able to, okay, we can't really afford this because this is, these guys, these inventory systems or whatever are with the Pizza Huts and Domino's and
yeah,
everything. And we're not really quite there yet. So what can we afford? What can we handle? What can we do to give our franchisees something, but at the same time, what can we, what can we afford? So there's a lot to that. There's a growing pains of how do you become a technology focused company uh, with and being able to afford it as you grow, and as you
Yeah.
grow, there's a lot to it, and it's
Yeah.
something that I have to learn.
I'm curious, like how, not anywhere near the scale size that you are, but having the multiple locations, having the different things that we do, what is like, how do you maintain your mood? Because ultimately you want to be the best pizza guy, but you got to do all this other stuff in order to maintain that system. And there's a lot of, I would imagine people are coming at you from all the different directions. Like I see, like, what do you have a method for just staying centered and focused and not like going crazy?
Yeah, no, I work out. I get up earlier than I ever did. It's
Yeah.
funny. I get up earlier than I ever did. I work more than I ever have, but um, I guess for me, it's a different kind of work. Like being on Zoom calls and everything. I get my hands dirty. I was in the kitchen
Yeah.
yesterday at Tony's, and I had a couple come in from Austin, and they were sitting right next to me. They're, oh, you're Tony? I said, yeah. They're, you still work? Huh? I'm well, yeah. I like to make pizzas, and then so I think
Still work.
getting in the kitchen as much as I can keeps some sanity to me. Sometimes we'll be all, you got 3 corporate calls a day. I'm like, okay, I don't handle
Yeah.
that so much. Getting exercise, getting some sleep, trying to regulate that. That for me right now, I think that's the hardest thing is being able to sleep. And I
Right.
think that
Same here.
sucks because it's like I used to be able to sleep in. I can't sleep in if you
Yeah.
paid me. Like it
Yeah.
just doesn't work. But I think getting as much sleep as I can, getting exercise, trying to maintain a healthy side of it because I'm 52 and things like they used to be when I was in my 30s. I can't
Yeah.
rebound like I used to. It's just different. But you got to have, I always say that poker face, you always have to have a good, I don't go online and share all my feelings on my bad day and everything's wrong and things like that. I just don't. That's just not me.
Mhm.
Um, and I try to maintain positivity. And and I always sometimes I'll go to my managers. Say, look, you grabbed me out of the kitchen 3 times. I came up, I shook the person's hand, I talked to him and everything, and I was happy and I was genuine, and I try to be that way. You have to sometimes put on a poker face and be like that, and things
Yeah.
aren't always perfect, and we see our team more than we see our own families a lot, and you have good days, you have bad days, but at the same time, you're in the same game and you're trying to finish the game as good as you can. Sometimes we win, sometimes we lose, but we got to have some positive energy as much as we can. And I deal with that, every day. I've had bad days, a lot of bad days, but I
Yeah.
don't try to share it with everyone. So
Yeah, I think I have this almost the same exact philosophy. If I wake up and the sun's up, I feel like I lost the whole day, and it's only like what 6:30.
I know, I know. I was up this morning. My wife was sleeping. I'm on my phone. I'm trying to do email, text message. So I saw you're on your phone. I'm all. It was like 5:30, and then she's
Yeah,
all, oh,
yeah,
I'm like, I got up late. She's like, yeah,
yeah. Nah, as I say, yeah, I'm getting up. It's great, and the sleeping. Oh my god, but it's and I'm looking at different things. Do I need prescription sleep medicine? Like the thing is, I'm getting through the day. It's not like I'm falling asleep during the day. I just think my body, like I think back. I'm third generation Italian American too, right? Like my mom slept like 4 hours, and her dad slept 4 hours. I think it's just the way that we're wired. And eventually I
I know
collapsed
it
for a
is.
few hours.
I know. I think that's just what it is. It's crazy.
Yeah, but
So
we can get shit done. So there it is.
yeah.
What? So it's. I also noticed like you seems like you're doing a lot of teaching too. No.
I've taught for years. I teach at Pizza Expo every year, which is the largest pizza show in the world in Vegas. I do
Yeah.
a lot of seminars. I help organize it.
I was
Um,
I was actually hoping to be there because the bar and restaurant show is going on
yeah,
at the same time, but
one restaurant.
I
I used to
I,
speak
I
at that once in
couldn't
a
make it.
while with for John Taffer.
Oh
I
wow.
did that a couple of years, and that's a great show. But the I had a school for about 15 years at Tony's. I read the International School of Pizza. I went to
Wow.
Italy, got certified in pizza, and I certified chefs out of a program there for 15 years. And you look at guys like Jeff Smokovich from Blue Pan in Colorado. You look at, Ann Kim from Young Johnny's and Hello Pizza and Pizzeria Lola in Minnesota. You look at, the Laura Myers, Tiago, a lot of people have
Yeah.
gone off and opened up some amazing restaurants and went through that program. I did
So
master class too for
I
master
saw
class.
that. I
And that
saw
was
that.
great.
What like what triggered you to do that? Was that something you're just passionate about teaching, or people were asking you to teach them, or
My dad being a coach, my
oh,
dad coaching, I think that's, I started a team called the World Pizza Champions, and it was independent operators on this team. We went and competed, we ran, we spoke, we wrote for magazines, things like that. Um, I started that team early. It was a U.S. pizza team, which sounds kind of funny, but I started that with a trade magazine years ago, and then I went off and started the World Pizza Champions team.
wow.
Like I could have kept winning and winning and winning, or competing and trying to win. And I thought it was important to like teach somebody, to win. And I think that was my dad coming out and me watching, seeing an employee do great and saying, "Hey, you want to go compete?" And that employee says, "I never competed before." I'm like, "I can help you out, and we can go through it." And then they go to Vegas and represent, our restaurant or their town, things like that, and watching them do well. Not always winning, but just watching them do well, and sometimes winning. And I think that's just more rewarding than me winning sometimes. So
Yeah, that's fantastic. I've been noticing lately. I'll speak to the company about something, and people come up to me afterwards that worked for us for a really long time. They never heard me do that before, and they're like, "Man, I wish I had you as the college professor. I would have stuck in school." And I'm like, "Really? What I don't know what I did different." But I was somebody told me this the other day, and I go, "I do remember my first college class thinking how boring all these teachers were, and I could do this and probably enjoy it." But I never really looked into it or pursued it. It wasn't interesting. It was just an afterthought. And I'm
yeah,
finding now, like I had an ability to make an impact by teaching people some of the things I did. So I was intrigued by that because I think I might start going in a similar direction. I just haven't like mapped it out yet, but I
yeah,
do
I think
enjoy
it's
it.
great. It's self gratifying. It's rewarding. It's like seeing my son score a goal, like or something
That's
like that.
awesome.
I think there's something about it that gets me excited. And I think there's a time in your life that you could think it's one big secret. Now, I mean, of course, with social media, things have changed, but recipes were a big secret. What you use, your sauce, things like that. And it's like I think there's a time in your life when you're like, you know what, I can get into teaching and training, and I got into that early. I didn't wait. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I look at, and it sounds like similar to you, like the stuff that seemed to really suck when we were younger, the hard work, the this, all, I would say, uh, so I have three daughters. They're all in their 20s now. They all grew up dancing. They played a little bit of soccer, but they really like to dance. And what was interesting watching that is I would have never had the patience to what they had to do, all the years of practice and months of practice just to be in a 5 minute performance. But I think it was a good life lesson for them growing up. And then later on, when they were like number one in the country for the program they're in their high school. And I would watch how much they had to train and what they had to go through. And I'm noticing now as they're in their 20s going to careers, they're like, I introduced them to a mentor I had, and I brought a lot of people from work to meet with this person. And he changed my life as far as education wise. I've studied his stuff, his business philosophy for a really long time. And he said, on the way home from this talk, my daughter, who I think might have still been in high school at the time, said, everybody thought he was really scary. I guess they never tried to have like a coach in dance or performance before because that guy was nothing. I go, that's what I wanted to hear because that's what the real world is like. People aren't used to being uncomfortable and being challenged and having to fail and learn from it. I think like you were saying with watching your son score, it's like sometimes those failures are the most important experiences if you learn how to get up and keep moving.
yeah, true.
For our
And
industry, I think it's pivotal. It's important.
and you got to take risks. I mean, I know people don't like in competition. Like some people say, "Oh, I think competition is the worst thing." I said, "I don't think so." And then we kind of go back and forth about it. I said, there's a time in your life when you get out of your comfort zone,
Yeah,
and as you get older, you tend not to have to get out of your comfort zone, and you get out of your restaurant and go internationally, and you make your dough 2 days in advance in a hotel room. You bring all your ingredients that you could, and you buy all your ingredients you can, and you go and you get one shot, and you have to make
yeah,
the best pizza you ever did in your life in an oven you've never worked in an environment you never at. and that environment may not be air conditioned or perfect. It's probably 100 degrees
Yeah.
out. It's a mess, and you're presenting your pizza in front of 4 judges, and you're trying to explain it in either broken English, or you're trying to translate it, or you have a translator, and you get judged on it. And it's different than when you're at your restaurant. You're like, oh, let me have a customer try it. What do you think? I made this creation. Oh, what do my employees think? And usually it's like, most of the time it's good. You may get a little critique, but when you're in that kind of moment, it's like, man, could I have made it better? Could I have
Yeah.
adapted to it? Could I have known that oven could have been a little less hot or
Yeah.
hotter? And there's times in your life that you don't, you put in a position where you're like, okay, I don't even know these people, and they're going to tell me what they think of their pizza, or like, give me
Yeah.
some number. So I feel like there's some personal growth during those times. So you may hate it, and a lot of times you do hate it. And I've lost more than I've won, but at the same time, I always learn something from it.
Yeah. The people that said they don't like competition just because it made them feel uncomfortable and it was hard. They just want to be left
I think
alone,
that's a
or
part of it. Or, sometimes competitions, it can be annoying. Yeah, you're like, dude, this is great pizza. What are you talking about? Like, they just didn't
yeah.
like it. They just didn't get it. But I don't know. There's just different people out there that don't like it. But I think you always learn from it. So
I recently did this talk on leadership, and I won't go into the background, but I was reading papers from business coaches I had on it, and one of them said, "When does a runner win the race?" And like everyone, they're fast to finish line. He goes, "No, every step of the way. Even when you think you're winning and they're in second, they've already studied you well enough to know what you're going to do so they can still win." And I was like, "Oh man, that's an everyday thing," which is what I hear you saying. That everything you've said is like studying and traveling and looking at stuff and mentoring and teaching, and it gets like
yeah, and I
essential.
always think that, creating the curve, when you look at Tony's, when you look at Styles, you think of implementing things, I always say that as soon as they think that, somebody figures you out, you're always a step ahead of them to land something else. And a lot of people say, you have all these styles, you did all this, what are you doing next? And then they'll kind of come out with a style within whatever the community, and they'll bring what you were doing. And then usually that's when I'll land something that's totally different. I'm
Yeah,
like, whoa, what is that? What's he doing now? I think that's important. And that's all about education. That's all about research. It's all about, you could be in your comfort zone. My wife always makes fun of me. She was there when I won in Naples for best margarita at the World Pizza Cup, and here I was. I mean, we had cops around us. We were a small American table. There was 2,000, 3,000 Neapolitans in this arena. They all
wow.
wanted to stab me or shoot me. One, uh, I walk up, I get the cup, you kiss the cup, you walk down, you're at the table, you're actually getting ushered out of the area saying, maybe you shouldn't celebrate too much. And I went to my wife and I said, I think I can make it better. And she always said, like, what are you talking about? You just won the whole thing. And I said, I think I can add a little bit more hydration to the dough.
Yeah,
I think I can up the salt. So there's a time that you can be content. And you should be, don't get me wrong. But I think there's times that I'm always striving to be better at something. There's that competitive, maybe it's a little brother that I wanted to be faster than his big
yeah,
brother. I
yeah,
wanted to be better. And maybe that's me, or maybe I'm trying to prove myself to my dad that, hey, I can win, which is probably there too. But I think
wow,
there's a time in your life that when you stop, when you think you're the best, is when you're not the best, and then that's when you really you know get pushed back and
yeah,
and fall behind. So
yeah.
I think
Learning
there's something
opportunity
always
though.
in my head.
What
So
what are is your family originally from Naples?
Luca, yeah, Italy,
What
yeah,
is that?
Lucchese, Tuscany, in
Okay,
Tuscany.
mine is well, my mom was Sicilian. Her last name was Russo, which is like the Smith of Sicily. And
Yeah,
then
yeah,
my dad's family is actually from Naples and Ischia, like the island here.
nice.
Yeah, off the
Yeah, I know
coast.
Ischia. Yeah,
Beautiful
yeah, I've
place.
been to
Yeah, I haven't been
Ischia.
there for a while, but half of like where I grew up in San Pedro, which is like the harbor area of LA, half the town was from those parts of Italy, or they all came there to fish from Croatia and Italy, and
Yeah, a
some
lot
from
of
Greece too.
fishermen. Yeah, like in San Francisco, a lot of fishermen that came over from Sicily. My wife's Sicilian, and a lot of Sicilians, a lot of people from Tuscany.
Yeah.
in San Francisco and North Beach. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I've got family there. Well, my last question, I think you sort of answered it, but I'm curious if you want to add to it at all. Just like, what legacy do you hope to leave behind, or beyond, beyond
Good
pizza, because the
question.
teaching and everything, there's so much that you're doing.
Yeah, I think Tony's pizza Napoletana. I think that's important to leave behind. Do I hope my son will be a part of it? I do, but then there's the heartache and the headache and the stomach aches that
Yeah.
come with the restaurant business. And I think I don't want him to have that. But I talked to my son and I said, he likes to surf, and I always say, wouldn't it be cool to buy a building somewhere and just surf together, and then when we want to open, we can open. Like, and maybe we open 3 nights a week. We go buy produce locally, and we
That's
decide this is
awesome.
the menu. And so him and I have this dream together that we talk about. But I think Tony's and owning the building and owning buildings in North Beach and rebuilding North Beach, Little Italy, which is in San Francisco. I think that's important to me.
Oh, that's
I think
cool.
keeping the tradition alive, but at the same time, maybe we have a little place in Hawaii or in LA or something
Ah,
that
wow.
him and I can like just go have a good time, in my later years. So
Yeah, man, that would be it's awesome.
the dream,
Hey,
never stop
yeah.
dreaming.
It was like you just described the Chef Show movie with John Favreau, but you mixed in surfing. You ever see it?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah, oh yeah. That was a great movie. But
yeah,
my
that's what
son
I
does
was,
like to
I was
make
thinking of.
pizzas. He's good at making pizzas and he enjoys it and he likes to surf.
That's
So
cool.
we talk about that dream together.
How old is he?
He's 11, gonna be 12 in a couple months. So
Oh
yeah.
yeah, he's got a lot of time to make decisions, man.
Oh yeah,
I'll,
yeah. But we
I'll
talk
tell you
about
what,
it.
with three daughters in their 20s, like I was never looking for them to work in the family business. Like, go do something else. You could come back later, because I think it's really important to do other things before you
Oh
come
yeah.
in. And I don't have any requirement that they do. Like, my one daughter works part-time as an executive assistant for me, and one was a host during the pandemic when she was in college, and wrote a whole paper about how people were just mean, like coming into the restaurant, not wanting to follow any of the rules. It's not my rules. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think she learned enough from that experience to go off. Now she's in New York and doing her thing. So they grow up, man. And I think if they come back, they come back, and if they don't, it's just good to have opportunities. Like, my grandfather's part of his. It's like, we want this to always be a place where family can work if they run into trouble and need to work somewhere. But you also have to have some criteria and stuff in place, because that could actually damage morale with the rest of the employees. Just
Yeah. Yeah, true.
neo
Yeah.
employees. So, well, anyways, hey, I don't have anything else to add. Just, you want to share like where people can find more information about what you do, and online, or what, a master class,
Yeah.
or anything we can look up?
TonyGemignani.com, TonyGemignani.com. You can
All
see a
right.
lot of my restaurants and things I'm doing on there. Yeah.
All right, cool. Well,
Cool.
appreciate the
Thanks.
time. It's been a great conversation, man. Thanks a lot for being here.
You too. I like that Marvel picture you have behind there. What is it? How to
This
draw, right?
one?
Is that signed by Stan Lee or what?
No, it's I brought it home when I was a kid, because I was really into Marvel Comics. It's how to draw them.
Yeah, yeah, I
And
know.
I
I
guess
know that book. Yeah.
my brother apparently took it, never gave it back to me, and I didn't know that. So he recently framed it, gave it to me as a Christmas gift.
That's cool. I love it. Yeah, I collect comics. If you
Oh,
saw my
cool.
whole room here, you'd see like thousands of comics and
Yeah, I got
Star Wars figures and baseball. I collect a lot of
nice.
stuff.
I got a few thousand myself, but they're all in storage. I haven't thought to put them up. I mean, I have a little things up here, but they're mostly in storage. I'm just kind of wondering if it might end up becoming my retirement play, because I have no idea what any of them are worth at this point.
Yeah,
They're
you
like
better get
way
them
back
out
from the
storage.
80s. Yeah, my dad was telling me at one point they had like Iron Man #1, and he had all these
Oh,
really
nice.
original ones in their cellar, and they all got moldy. And my grandma
Oh,
didn't know and threw them out. So when we were
oh
growing up
no.
together, when I was growing up under my dad, that was this thing. We'd go work at the fish market all day on a Sunday, then go to the comic vendor and buy like $30 worth of comics in like
That's
1982,
awesome.
and then we'd
Yeah, I
read them
love
and
it.
talk about it. It was
My
fun.
dad took me out a lot to card shows growing up, and yeah, 61 Willie Mays was my first card I bought. I still have
Wow,
it. It's right over there, and
damn,
I even didn't take it out of its case before. Even though those cases they say smash them, I just kept it alone. But yeah, I love collecting. So
that's cool, man. Well, all right.
All right.
Signing off. Thanks again for the time, and I got to come up and see and have some pizza. Actually, you're in Universal. You're close. There's like multiple places
I
around
am,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah,
existed.
yeah. One in Universal. That's a great store actually, and it's popping right now because it's
Is
summer.
it?
So
What you want
yeah.
to share the story before we jump off?
Say it again.
You want to share what that great story is?
Oh, that store, the Universal Studio store is busy. And then the busiest time, which is crazy, is their Halloween. If
Oh
you go to
wow,
Universal
yeah,
during Halloween, it's
I have.
insane. Like we opened
Yeah,
right when that we opened right during that time last year, and it's busy at 2 o'clock and 2 a.m. I mean, like so.
yeah.
Yeah, some
I saw
stores
you
out in
posting all
LA
about it.
really good. Thousand Oaks, Fountain Valley. There's some really great stores out there. San Diego, Santa Clarita. There's some awesome stores out there. Simi
Well,
Valley.
I'm actually in Naples, Long Beach right now, which is like the border of
Nice.
Long Beach and Orange County. So there's a couple places I think are closer than I realized that I'm gonna. Although I'll tell you what I did. You know what I did for Fourth of July? I have a pizza oven in my backyard. I'm not
Uh,
anywhere. I just once in a while turn it on. The idea was to have all the kids there and have them make their own pizzas instead of going out and
yeah.
getting in trouble somewhere else. That worked out really well all through high school. But I threw a couple tomahawks in there and oh man, I salted them overnight. I threw them in there with
Nice.
Wagyu tallow, and then we had some. My wife made the pizza dough, and we just made some pizza. Oh, so good! It's such a great
Awesome.
way to. And then we did the fireworks. It was fun, Fourth of July there.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah,
There's some good
but
pizza in Long Beach. A guy named Mike's out there, and I can't think of the name of his restaurant right now, but he makes good pizza out there.
is it
We're actually opening in
Rances?
Ventura next week. Ventura opens up not
Oh,
this weekend. It got pushed to next weekend. So yeah,
okay.
yeah.
If you remember which Mike it is, let me know. I've met a couple of the guys, but I haven't.
He runs a school, like an Italian school out there. He actually came in to mine, the Scuola Italiana Pizzaioli. I think he's a division of that
Oh
out
yeah,
there. But
yeah. It's down the street, I think, for me.
yeah, yeah.
Like on
I can't
Second
think of
Street.
the
Yeah,
name of his restaurant. It's an Italian name, but he does a great job. He's a great pizza man. Yeah.
yeah. All right, I'm getting hungry. I gotta
Okay. I'll see you later. And thank you.
go.